Ah,
Hi, my name is and I am currently working as an analytics consultant with Infinity Research. And I got placed through Analytixlabs. I was a student of Analytixlabs 2021 batch. And it's been a very good learning experience for me, whereas the conceptual understanding is concerned. I think the mentors really put in a lot of effort to get your concepts and basic understanding and your foundation clear. Because I really feel like if your foundation is clear in analytics, you can actually learn anything. I think Analytics Labs is a very good platform where I had, learned all of these concepts in detail. And that is what I feel about my journey so far. I think that the course is definitely relevant because if you get into the industry, you realize that for analyst positions, you are required to understand concepts of macros and BBN and Excel and SQL. And if you're looking at more of a holistic data scientist or an analytics role, then you require all the kind of things that the course has covered. So especially the machine learning concepts and the case studies, the way the case studies are designed, in terms of the business problem converting into an analytics problem, and then finally finding an analytics solutions. So that is something that Analytics Labs really helped me to formulate when I started my professional experience. So kudos to that. I would say like basic concepts, like a lot of people first learn Python and directly go on to machine learning with Python. I think it's important first to understand concepts of SQL because then you get some programming understanding, and your understanding of Python also becomes better. So I would say SQL is very important, and even for machine learning, your statistical understanding more than the programming and the coding, your statistical understanding is extremely important because that is what is the basis of the algorithms that you're going to be using. For example, if I'm using a time series forecasting or let's say a classification problem, I need to understand what is probability. I need to understand those basic concepts of mathematics which I learned in school. So those, I think those basics, if you're clear, then you can definitely build on those. Like I was giving the example of time series forecasting, and even the end-to-end marketing analytics case study that we did using segmentation in RFM. So I mean, these case studies are very, I would again say, very comprehensive, and they cover very different aspects of a business problem. It's not just one case study is addressing one kind of a problem, but the good part about the case studies are that it's a combination of different machine learning problems. So even in the case studies that Analytixlabs gave us, that was a combination of multivariate classification and classification problems. So I would say again, they deal too much into like covering everything from a 360-degree angle. So you're able to, the more you
Good morning, all. Hope I am audible. Thanks for everyone to make it on this Sunday morning. So we have good number of participants today for this lovely topic, career in analytics and data science. Is it for you? So the agenda for today will be, of course, talking about this topic and understanding the challenges for any kind of a person who wants to, any kind of background, who wants to make it big in analytics and data science. So before we start, let me introduce myself. I'm Sabrish, and I'm with Analytixlabs for the last 5+ years. And I take care of counseling and admissions here. So on a daily basis, I usually, most of you would have interacted with me. I interact with many students, right from freshers, experienced folks, people coming from a non-technical background, etc. So yeah, so let's get into the topic for today. So quickly, Analytixlabs, we are an 10+-year-old organization. One of the few institutes started analytics way back in 2000, analytics and data science training way back in 2011 in Delhi NCR. From day one till today, we've been the top institutes in India, ranked by many external vendors, and we have been providing classroom-based offline traditional orthodox classroom classes. We have online. Basically, we have all kinds of learning modes available. So coming to today's discussion, it'll be close to 2-hour session. We'll be discussing about the various pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages. So many questions you guys have, which I normally hear on a daily basis. Is it for me? I'm from a non-technical background. I'm from a technical background. I'm from X years of experience. Now I want to do a transition. So the mostly frequently asked questions and answers will be answered in this session today. And how we'll go is towards the end of the around 12:45, you can leave your questions and everything in that question. There is a Q&A option. And most of you have also been received this invite to receive some bonus material and etc. So that is definitely there for all the attendees who stayed from the beginning till the end. So there'll be a small survey link shared to you. It can be done anytime towards the beginning or end. So once you fill that, you'll be getting that as well. And we also have a huge surprise towards the end of the session. So quickly, today's host probably who's going to take the session will be Mr. Sumeet. He's our CEO for Analytixlabs, and comes 13+ years of experience in various big data science consulting, worked in McKinsey, right? Has huge experience. So over to you, Sumeet. Probably you can take it from here. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Sabrish. Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for taking time on Sunday morning and joining the session. We'll ensure that 2 hours you spent are well spent and they would be informative for you. Before I start with the core topic and few frequently asked questions that Sabrish mentioned, I would want to introduce myself and rest of the core team. Sabrish, you have already met. So I am Sumeet. I lead Analytixlabs. I co-founded Analytixlabs in 2011. In 2019, there's another company, alabs.ai, which focuses on digital analytics. We started that as well. Over 15 years of global experience. Prior to Analytixlabs, I was part of McKinsey for majority of my career and sometime with ZS Associates, another data-driven consulting firm. So during these 15 years, I got many opportunities to work in over 12, 13 countries in different geography and industries. So one of the things which I always try, whether it is in a webinar like today or any training sessions in future where we interact, to share as much as practical learning and more pragmatic point of view about the industry, above and beyond what you learn or read in textbooks, or let's say usually some misconceptions as well. Apart from that, I have two co-founders who are not part of the session today, but you would be interacting with them. For example, Ankita, she is the CEO from Stevens and ISB Hyderabad. Again, close to 17 years of experience. So she's responsible for overall student success, training, operations, and placements. Then our third co-founder, Chandra, he's our chief data scientist. He's from IIT Madras, 16 years of experience. He's primarily responsible for content development, training delivery, certification, and placements along with Ankita. Apart from three of us, of course, there is a team we have to take care of all significant and critical aspects like career counseling, then admin and operations, then training and student support and student operations, certification and placements. Sabrish, who leads a whole career counseling and some part of admin, you have already met. And as part of your journey at Analytixlabs, you of course interact with the rest of the team when and as needed. So talking about the agenda in particular today. So we'll talk about why career in data science. We all understand it's important, but still sometimes we get questions from the aspirants, especially the early stage aspirants, that okay, they are also considering, let's say, career in digital marketing or some other allied digital field. Which one is better? So we'll try to address that part here. Then it's also important to understand what is data science, slightly one level deeper. Then different types of analytics, because this, once you understand, you also understand a different type of job roles which are available in analytics. At the same time, this also helps us to understand the fifth point, in fact, fourth and fifth point, that data science is a multidisciplinary skill, multidisciplinary role, where there is a place for everyone, whether you are from a technical or non-technical background. People from non-technical background may excel in a certain different type of roles. People who are more technical inclined, or sometimes we have people who are not even from technical background, but they're technically inclined. They, over the course of their career, they pick up roles which are more technically oriented. Then popular courses and certifications we have, and some areas around student success from different backgrounds and different profiles. Right. So as I said, I believe many do understand that data science is important. Right. That's the reason we are spending our Sunday morning. Now, I would want to break down this answer in three easy dimensions and help you to understand why career in data science is actually one of the best or probably the best option in current times. So the first one is high demand. If you talk about any job portal, I have put some stat from Monster, but even if you see Naukri, Indeed, or LinkedIn, the story will not be different. This is the most in-demand job role as of now. So I'm not just talking about data scientist job role, but data science as a domain, and there are several other job roles within data science. As per Nascom last year, there's a shortage of 16 lakh digital professionals, and significant amount of it is actually analytics or analytics related. The salaries in analytics on average tend to be on the higher side. So for a fresher salary, 4.7 is the average median starting salary. Of course, we have candidates as a starting salary also, they are bagging 6.57, even 9 lakhs, depending on your profile and education background. But this is the average. And by the way, this average is from our own student survey. This number I have not taken from any external research or anything. This is our own average for 2020 and 21. Again, this is the starting average salary. So we understand it's high demand. You get good packages, high salary. The other important thing, which also differentiates it from other career options, it's also high growth. Now, sometimes what happens, you pick up a career which at the initial stage is in high demand. You also get decent salary. But the challenge comes up after a couple of years that the job role or responsibilities or the learning starts stagnating. So from that point of view, analytics, data science job roles are actually something you can count on for many years to come. If I talk about in comparison to other IT roles, okay, IT roles or research-based roles, on average, analytics salaries tends to be 30% higher. Then in 6 years, as a professional, when you tenure up to, let's say, 6 years, on average, the salaries grow by 10x. That's a growth story in analytics. For tenured professionals, the salary packages we have seen comfortably going up to 50 lakhs, 70 lakhs, right? So this is a very nominal number, especially the boom we have seen post 2020 after the digital acceleration, right? So I'll again underline this point, especially when we get people who ask this question, how about career against digital marketing? So I don't want to demean or I don't want to downplay any of these other career options. But what I mean to say, you have to be careful that you don't choose a career track which looks lucrative right now, but later on during the other years, you may start feeling some growth challenges. So from that point of view, it's quite good. So for example, myself, I have been in this industry for 15 years. I have not seen anyone from my peer group who started their career in mid 2000s moving away from analytics for that matter. The third aspect is the job roles are exciting because we all understand when it comes to job satisfaction or satisfaction as a professional, salary or growth is not the only thing. The work should be satisfying. It should be satisfactory. So there is a reason Harvard Business Review way back in 2012 labeled data scientist job as the sexiest job of 21st century, right? The job roles are techno-functional in nature. So as I said, it's not really purely technical or heavily technical. They're techno-functional. You may be coming from non-technical background, so there would be suitable job roles for IT and non-IT candidates. And something which makes this career option very satisfying, it's a high impact job role. So you work close to business, you work close to business management. Through your work, you solve interesting problems, you empower businesses, right? Now, this at the same time is very satisfying, engaging. You learn on daily basis about new problems, new type of solutions, right? New type of methods. At the same time, as a professional, you are always in demand, whichever organization you are part of or whichever organization you join. So this is something which is extremely important aspect while choosing any career option. So as I always tell to my students, don't just go with these salary packages, go with this description that what will be your role responsibilities. Do you think you can do justice to that role? Would you enjoy working that role for, let's say, not 5 years, at least 3 years? So from all those point of view, this is really one of the best options if you're considering starting your career in 2022, or even if you're talking about switching your career. So if you have any questions related to that, as Sabrish mentioned, please put it in Q&A section. We will be taking these up. Now, once we have a view, what makes career in data science so sought after, let's also understand what is data science. So you may also share your answer in the chat or Q&A box, because there could be several definitions. I have also shared a blog which we have in detail, sharing different aspects, but we want to keep it simple and effective. So if you have to define data science, it is to gain insights into data through computation, statistics, and visualization. So there could be number of methods and combination of these methods we use, but primarily to gain insights into the data. And the most important thing, to drive smart business decisions. Because no matter what we do, if it does not help the organization, it does not solve a problem, it does not help business to become more efficient, right? That data science or analytics is hardly of any value. So this is something as a professional, we always say, start with end in the mind. What are you trying to achieve from analytics? So for example, for a business, the priority could be to improve customer satisfaction. Okay. Sometimes it could be that to resolve a customer request and it is taking 5 days to a utility company, for example. How can we have more smart solutions or systems in place that can solve customer problems in just maybe 1 or 2 days, right? Or for a bank, it could be they have high default or fraud rate on the credit card business. How can they reduce their credit card default or credit card fraud? So in short, there could be variety of problems a business may face, right? What we are trying to achieve is better insights, better answers to solve those problems. Now, this takes several steps, broadly extracting the data, analyzing and processing the data, then generating insights from the data, right? If you have to understand data science well, always think of it as a process. When you start learning data science as a student, this process will be further broken down into several sub-steps, which is essentially the whole essence of learning data science. How do you carry out that process? What are the different steps and significance and interpretation of it? But to put it at a simple level for you at this stage, first, we obtain the data from relevant sources. So it could be your transaction data, it could be your customer social media data, or it could be chatbot or call center data. So depending on our business problem, business object, we obtain data from various sources. Then comes cleaning the data or scrubbing the data, because most of the times when we get the data, it tends to have several issues, problems, anomalies. Sometimes the data is not recorded properly, right? Let me share very two simple examples. Let's say there is a variable where we are recording the date of a transaction, and the format of the date is not correctly mentioned, or it's not consistent across. Or we are working for an MNC client, multinational client, where there are transactions happening in multiple currencies. So to make it uniform, everything into single currency, which can be helpful for the analysis, we may have to do some basic data cleaning, formatting, etc. Then third stage is explore. We try to understand what is our data saying. At this stage, we may not use very fancy techniques or advanced methods. Sometimes it could be basic statistical methods. Sometimes it could be just understanding, plotting simple graphs to see what is the data telling, what is the basic quality we have in the data. Is it even useful or not? At this stage, it's possible if we have gathered a lot of data, some amount of data we will decide to drop because it is not looking good, or it is not looking helpful for the problem we want to solve. Then comes the fourth stage, modeling, the more glamorous side of it, something which everyone wants to do: machine learning models, predictive models, statistical models, right? Here we use historical data, past data, to basically use the techniques, as I mentioned, statistical or machine learning or predictive modeling techniques, to predict the outcome, to estimate the outcome. And by the way, the model may not be always for prediction. There could be other models also which we use where prediction is not needed. Of course, you will understand that once you start learning. But idea is the data which we cleaned, which we understood, which we find useful, we are now modeling it for the desired outcome. The last stage is very important because we can't always trust what our model tells us. So sometimes our model may be useful, sometimes our model may be counterintuitive, sometimes the answers we get from model is not fitting the context of what business needs. So it becomes very important that the domain knowledge, the understanding of business is put to use, so that results we are getting are actionable. Or sometimes we realize that, okay, these results will have to discard, and we may go back to our drawing board again, rethink about how to solve the problem, or maybe we should be consider some different amount of data or different type of data or different type of model. So it's not always that. Step 3, and redefine the outcome or try to improve the outcome. So as a data science professional, as a business analyst, you will be dealing with each of these steps. And trust me, a lot of importance goes in how well you explore the data or clean the data. In analytics, we have a saying that garbage in, garbage out. So if we have not done these 2 steps right, so let's say these 2 steps are not done right, or here you missed some important part of the data, this outcome may not be correct. So as I said, these 3 things are non-glamorous side of the job, but they are very important, which any data scientist or analyst would vouch for. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Right. So I'll have a quick glance at the questions. Also, we'll take the questions at later stage. Let me see if something is very relevant to answer right away. Okay, some questions. For example, Ankita, your question, simple answer is yes, but we'll talk in detail about it at later stage. Rahul has a question, which I'll answer right now. So Rahul, when I started my career in 2007, maybe I thought it will be 2-3 years more when we would see some saturation, maybe 5 years, right? Uh, then when we started Analytixlabs, and it had been 3-4 years after that, things were going well. Again, some people told us that this is another 3-4 year story. Data will run out of that importance and all that. But to everyone's surprise, and actually for not so surprising for many wise people, it did not happen that way. In fact, it became all the more important than what it was. And if you now think about the underlying currents, everything is technology driven. For everything, we use devices or digital technology, which generates a lot of data, right? So the need to make use of that data, to first, let's say, to even to manage that data, to analyze that data, to develop some data driven solutions, the need is just increasing. And hence, that's the reason the importance of the salaries of data science analytics profession has been always in high demand. So I will not make that mistake again to predict that when we could leave saturation, how things are and how world is changing, how things are becoming more data driven with the AI taking over a lot of other areas. I do not see this happening for next 20-30 years. Just a quick example. We already talk about that the doctor's job in coming years, a surgeon's job could be supervise and assist, but robots or AI could be operating a lot of actual surgeries. Similarly, on law and legal system, China has already started trying AI for decision making, right? So there is still a lot to be done, and we see these possibilities in tremendous amount. So I won't have an answer for this, and definitely not next 20-30 years. Okay. Vaishnavi, your question is same category like Ankita's question. I'm parking it for later. This is a question which will come up later stage. We have that, in fact, to an extent in next slide itself. Okay. So there is a good question from Kashif. There is a discussion about automation of data science. Most of the work, how this will impact. So Kashif, actually, this is already happening. So the other company which I talked about, alabs.ai, a lot of work which we do there, actually the automation is heavily involved there when it comes to analytics and data science. But what will your automation do? Automation may make this decision or this action faster. Let's say it may automate how do you obtain the data. Once you understand how data has to be cleaned, if it has to be done regularly, you may automate this part, right? But you still need someone to understand that what is in the data and how it should be cleaned. Automation can help you to explore the data better or faster, but still you need human judgment to understand that for this problem or this type of business, we need it, right? When it comes to modeling, already the amount of coding or programming which used to be needed many years back is reducing. So the effort which goes into programming and coding, that may become automated, or you may have a model where you just input things and most of the things are done automatically. So automation is likely to reduce the repetitive or manual effort, but the need to have an analyst who can understand things, apply in a right business context, interpret things will be still there, right? So it's going to be there. It's just that the importance on few aspects of the job roles will change. Santosh, answer is yes. A lot of digital marketing experts or digital marketing leverages analytics. I'm keeping this answer short. We'll take up this again at slightly later stage. Okay. Great. Now, another step to understand about analytics and data science, we break down analytics into 5 stages. Because many of the things I have talked about, we are using some umbrella terms, but even the question to some of the answer to some of the questions you guys have asked lies here. So analytics or data science as an umbrella term tells us broadly that we use data to draw insights and solve business problems or drive business decisions. However, the nature of those problems or the solutions or what we are trying to solve can vary a lot. So the very first or the most basic type of problems we deal with, or the type of analytics we deal is descriptive analytics, where it helps us to answer that what has happened in past or what has happened so far. Okay. So we'll take one example, or we take an example from, let's say, Amazon, and we try to extrapolate that example for all 5 stages. Let's say Amazon wants to understand that in last 3 years, how much laptops they have sold, in what price or which type of brands, and how it has changed in last 3 years. If you see the answer of the nature of question is backward looking, what has happened in the past. This type of analytics is also generally known as BI, MIS analytics, business intelligence, reporting analytics. And we may not need very fancy tools or techniques to solve this type of problem. So we may simply stick to, let's say, Power BI, Tableau, Excel, SQL, which can help us to generate standard reportings or ad hoc reports to answer these questions. The next stage is diagnostic, which helps us to understand why it has happened. So we understand what has happened in first stage. Diagnostics helps us to understand why it has happened. So let's say Amazon says we have the sales of laptop, or the revenue from the laptop sale has increased 60% in 3 years. Okay. Now they want to understand why. They may understand that we are selling more laptops than what we were doing 3 years, but a major reason is the price of laptops have increased. So the increase in sales is the number of sales is nominal, but because of the prices have increased in the laptop, the revenue looks very high. So basically examining why something is happening. At this stage, we may start using some statistical analysis, or here also we may not use statistical analysis, but still typically the things do remain simpler here. Even if statistical analysis comes into picture, it's very simple or basic in nature most of the times. Now, typical human nature and a lot of business value is attached. If we understand what has happened, why it has happened, now what could happen next? So maybe now Amazon wants to predict that, okay, how many laptops will we sell in next 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year? Maybe they want to understand from where they should source these laptops, who could be suppliers. If let's say the demand is expected to be higher, do they have enough suppliers, reliable suppliers to make the supply? So this kind of problem typically needs, let's say, statistical analysis, predictive analytics, and we start using tools like R, Python, etc. Even in descriptive and diagnostic, you may use R, Python, etc. So that's not a problem. But in generally predictive, we definitely need more capable or more advanced tools. Now we have seen what has happened, why it is happening. Then we are talking about what could happen next in predictive, right? Prescriptive is what should we do? Okay, so here analytics starts getting more intelligent, and it also helps businesses to make decision that what should we do. Okay, so in case of Amazon, there could be several type of situations where prescriptive will be used. One is they may have analytics engines which tells them, okay, you should reach out to these suppliers in these countries and geographies to fulfill the need. Okay, the prescriptive analytics can also be intelligent enough to tell, okay, these are the customers who are likely to buy the laptop, so this is the kind of offer or this is the kind of campaign you should do for these customers. So in short, it is also helping the business to understand what it should do, whom to sell, how to sell, at what price, etc., etc. These are the kind of questions. So in short, what should we do? And typically these stage of analytics does need machine learning, etc. Now I have a question for you guys here. Lot of analytics, prescriptive analytics, we guys are also exposed day-to-day life, right? So in the world around us, when you use your phone or you surf internet, you are actually exposed to a lot of prescriptive analytics. So can anyone give me an example? There could be actually multiple examples of prescriptive analytics which you see in the world around us. You may just give your answer in Q&A section itself or chat section. Let me help you guys a bit. So Google Maps, what route should we do? Okay, when you select a place to go, what route you should take, how you should go there. That is an example of prescriptive analytics. Anything else, guys? Yeah, Bharat, great example. Movie recommendations. So when Netflix recommends you a movie, and in fact, Netflix is very well known for their algorithm to be very, very effective for movie recommendation. On the similar lines, even your this thing, the shopping recommendations, YouTube recommendations. Yes, exactly, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Naveen, that's true. Even this reminds me, the feed which you see on Facebook. So many, many years back, 15 years back, the Facebook feed for almost everyone in a region in similar group used to be very similar. What they used to see, basically based on the events happening in their friends and their life, they used to see a feed. The Facebook feed now is very unique for everyone. What you see, not just the ads, but the news on the content, that is based on your lot of things in your behavior, right? Yeah, exactly. So recommendation engines is definitely one solid example of prescriptive. I have got one another answer from Arsh, which is true. Transportation industry, how to optimize, let's say, a truck fleet or their route, their systems, right? That is also your prescriptive analytics example. Great, that's great, guys. The other one, no, Mayank. So weather forecasting will not be really prescriptive. It would be more forecasting or predictive in nature. The last one is actually something which is most glamorous. Everyone talks about these days, cognitive analytics, or you can also name it as artificial intelligence, AI, where my machine learns and can automatically take decisions on their own. So there are several examples to it. The complexity or the level of complication in those examples are different. One, the pinnacle of everything is, of course, self-driving cars like Tesla. The other example of could be our chatbots, Siri, Alexa, etc., where they can understand or they can keep learning what you're talking about or what are your preferences, etc., and take the decisions. So, of course, it depends what level of autonomy it has, what level of actions it can take. For example, these days, many cars which are coming even on Indian roads, let's say even Mahindra XUV 700, they have ADAS, adaptive driving assistance systems, which helps you to lane assistance, that it reads the road, the markings on the road, and it automatically keeps correcting the steering on its own if it is going outside the lane. So all that is an example of cognitive analytics. Okay. Let me quickly see. Yeah, good. Okay, good, guys. Thank you for your answers. Yeah, Akriti, correct. So Akriti had an answer which I missed earlier. Email automation. So if it is done in more intelligent manner based on user behavior, it's also prescriptive analytics. So these days you have marketing technology or engines intelligent enough, automatically deciding what email to send to whom and when. Okay, great. So guys, I hope this helps you to understand about analytics and what is analytics and data science at an overall level. How this is a process, and then one level deeper, what are the 5 different stages. Now, the other thing which it is very important to understand, and again related to some of the questions we have already seen and some of the questions you have on your mind, is that analytics or data science is a multidisciplinary skills. It needs multidisciplinary skills. So you need business skills also, you need technology skills also, and you need analytics skills also. And depending on your education background, depending on your experience and interest, you may excel in one, you may have basic understanding of the other, you may have a lot of experience in, let's say, on the business side, right? So there are a variety of roles in this field for everyone. So let's talk about when people mostly say they are from engineering background, okay? They have done IT or computer science engineering, right? So typically you're talking about people from this side of the spectrum, where there are roles which are related to, let's say, data engineering, data architect, or machine learning, where you heavily have to work with different algorithms and tools, and it does need a bit of coding, right? So these are the kind of roles you may opt for. At the same time, we see people, they start as data engineer, but maybe they will choose to be data scientist after 2-3 years of experience because they develop more interest on it. At the same time, we see people who started as data architect. They are absolutely loving that work profile. For 15 years, 20 years, they continue to be solution architect, data architect, solution engineer. They love to be on that side. At the same time, the question which comes up, I'm from non-technical background. I do not know programming. I'm not from engineering background, right? So you may start from job roles or acquiring skills which are not highly technical in nature. For example, you may start with a role of a data analyst or data science consultant, right? You understand how to explore data, analyze data, you know basic predictive analytics, basic machine learning, right? So in this case, your journey may very well start from this side, that you take up a role or target a role which is from non-technical background point of view, and then progress. Now, I must mention, we have candidates who come from arts background, BCA background, BCom background. They started from this side, right? Some of them started, many of them, let's say, started their career as business analyst, data analyst. Few of them actually also started as data scientists inspired from non-technical background. And people who started as data analysts, business analysts, they do progress as data scientists because they developed interest. Their fear of dealing with basic statistics or even basic programming, they were able to overcome that, right? Because eventually things are not difficult. We had one student, he did our course in 2015, started working as data analyst. He again did another course with us in 2018, then switched to more data science side. He's now working more in ML engineering side. He has already published, I think, 2 books or at least 1 book, definitely. He has been working with us now as a trainer since 2020, right? And why I'm sharing his story, he studied arts in his graduation. He's an arts graduate. I think he's a BA in history, right? So many of the times, these things are inertia, misconceptions. Yes, you would need to be little more patient. You may need to put little extra effort with help of your mentors, but none of this stops you to achieve whatever career you want to pursue in analytics or data science. And it's perfectly fine. You want to start as a data analyst, you stick to the role as data analyst, perfectly fine. Now, if you see, there's an overlap also. For example, to be a successful data scientist, you need to understand a bit of data engineering, maybe a lot of data analytics and machine learning, right? At the same time, the question comes from people coming with 10 years of experience in business domain, banking domain, marketing domain. Right now, nothing is more important than bringing on the domain knowledge or business knowledge in data science. If you recall, I did talk about it in 2 slides back also. You make a model, it tells you something, whether it is useful for the business or not, that's very important. So many of you may be coming with an experience, and that experience is more functional in nature, let's say HR, marketing and sales, or for that matter, banking, right? Now, you may not do hands-on individual contributing work. You may not choose that kind of a role. Some do, right? But you may choose to be an analytics consultant who knows how to leverage analytics in banking domain, or who knows how to use data science in marketing and sales. So you may choose a role which is, let's say, more business domain input, business driven, which needs domain expertise. You can be a bridge between the technical teams and the client and the non-technical teams, and have more focus on driving business value. Again, underlining this, you may invest a lot in data science, hiring data scientists, building data sources, running fancy techniques. But if it does not help business or solve business problems, it is of zero value. And that's the reason where domain expertise or domain understanding becomes very, very important. There are cases where we do get candidates that, okay, I have 15 years of experience, I want to be data scientist. So we guide them that it will be wrong for you to target an individual contributing role as a data scientist. You may reach there in, let's say, another 2-3 years, but initially you should target a role which is, let's say, more managerial in nature, where you are adding value by using your domain knowledge, right? Similarly, someone who comes from IT background, software engineering background, for them, data scientist could be an option, or easier option could be data engineering and then progress towards data science. And similarly, for non-technical, non-engineering, learn data science, start your job role as data analyst or business analyst with good understanding of data science. And of course, with time, your job role will evolve and also change. So we'll be spending more time on different kind of job roles, different kind of let's say responsibilities these job roles have. So we again will spend some time on that. Let me quickly see if we have questions. Okay, so Gaurav, I am also mechanical engineer by education. Okay, so that's a thing. So it doesn't matter. So when I started my career, in fact, there was no term as data scientist. For first 2-3 years, I was actually playing the role of data analytics with some predictive modeling, right? In fact, the machine learning was not prevalent, but you can definitely target from this side. Let's say you are from engineering background, some quantitative exposure is there. You can start from this route of this side where you focus on all these 3 skills. Definitely worth doing it. So Chirag, if you're asking a question, which degree is best for data science, right? If you're an undergrad and you have that technical bent, you can do engineering, simply go with engineering, computer science, IT engineering, etc. But it's as you have graduated, right? Say now you are looking for post graduation. It's fine. Even if you go for, let's say, something in MBA or quants or stats, economics, that is also helpful for data science careers. Okay. So there is question related to complex programming. I am passing this question for now. We'll wait a little bit, another couple of minutes. I'll answer this question. So Abhishek, the simple answer is yes, the growth is less as a data analyst, but it is fine. You start as data analyst, and as you grow, gain experience, your profile can very well switch to a data scientist. So some people start their career as data scientists. For some people, it doesn't work. They start a career as data analyst. In 2-3 years, 2 years, 1 year, they switch as data scientist. Arpit, let's say there is a non-engineering candidate coming from BCA, BCom, BBA background. You may start with as a data analyst. Your average package could be very easily 4.5, etc. Right? So assuming you are absolutely fresher. Arsh, yes, a lot of candidates we get from BCA background. Okay. Akash, it does impact. You can say few companies will not shortlist the CV if you do not have full-time or you have distance learning, but some companies are okay with it. So let's say out of 10, maybe 60% companies will be okay, 30% companies may not be okay. Okay, guys, I am not going to take individual profile related questions. I will be answering these questions in one or the other way in coming slides. Right. So give me some time. I'm just looking at the questions which are very, very relevant to what we have just discussed. So guys, see, I think I have already answered this. When you say I'm from commerce background, you can definitely start from this side, right? If not all 3, you can definitely focus on a course which is like this. So then there is a question from Rigaya. As a process specialist in quality, let's say you're a quality analyst. Let me put it this way. Of course, I understand you could be more senior, right? So definitely you understand the professional industry now. You understand business side of the things. So if you want to switch a career into analytics, you can perfectly do, because even your profile would be current profile will be seen as a knowledge professional, knowledge-based profession. So any knowledge-based profession can definitely target analytics-based job roles. That's another knowledge-based role only. Jyoti will have to see your case one-to-one later on, because how much years of experience in accounts and those kind of things would matter. So guys, for some of the questions, we are happy to connect with you one-to-one during the week. Right? Team can help you to do that, because there are many participants and it's not justice to their time that if we discuss individual profiles in this webinar, but we are happy to do that post the session. Okay. Yashwant, yes, you have to share your profile CV once and we can evaluate it if it falls in that category or not. Shubham, for example, we have a program, Data Science 360, that's actually meant for these kind of career shifts. So you can start with that. You will be learning about data science, but it's a probable case that you may start as data analyst to begin with for 1 or 2 years of your career. Okay, now we'll answer the most important question which people have been answering. Programming. How much programming do we need? Okay. So let's see this definition from Josh Blumenstock. This is my most favorite definition if someone asks me who is a data scientist. So a data scientist is someone who knows more statistics than a computer scientist and more computer science than a statistician. Right? I repeat it again. More statistics than a computer scientist, more computer science than a statistician. So the essence is you need to learn both computer science to an extent, which is essentially some programming and some statistics, but at the same time, you are not learning it as a software developer or a programmer. So the programming, let's say you learn Python or R, right, or both. You are learning purely from analytics point of view, where there are limited set of commands, there are limited set of libraries, and essentially to deal with data, to extract or analyze data. That's it. You are learning programming or commands far lesser than what a software engineer would do. Or in fact, the languages which you use in analytics are more intuitive and easy to learn. They are not like Java. They are not like, let's say, C, etc. They are languages which are very intuitive and easy to understand. And many of the non-programming people work on it day in, day out and excel in it. So yes, programming to an extent is needed, but intuitive in nature, basic in nature, and with bit of effort, even people from arts background, commerce background do it very, very well. Of course, they need to be a little bit patient in the initial stage. But definitely you are not learning it as a software engineer or a software developer, far simpler than that. You are not learning statistics as a pure mathematician or a statistician. You are learning statistics just to understand how to interpret results, or in what situation, what kind of analysis can help. What do we apply? The difference would be let's say someone is coming from engineering background, computer 6 hours on self-study, 8 hours on self-study. Someone who is coming from non-programming background may just may spend more time, let's say maybe 12 hours on self-study, right? So your effort will increase, but we have not seen a case where people were doing the required part from their side and still they couldn't do it. So as I say to all my students, it's always more of a mental block. Think of this way: the new education policy of Government of India, which was released in 2020 and will be applicable in next 2, 3, 4 years, even 5th class standard candidates will be introduced to machine learning and programming, right? So in fact, Steve Jobs very famously said that everyone should learn programming because it helps you to learn how to think. So if we see programming patiently, it is very simple and it's very logical in nature. Initially, we may struggle that once you get hack of it, it's very easy. And I'm repeating it probably 3rd or 4th time. It's not the same type of programming which software engineers or software developers do. It's very simple, mostly to deal with data. So you would have languages like Python and R, which are much more intuitive and easy to learn. Some of these sentences will just look like English sentences, and the number of commands, etc., will be limited. Overall, as a data scientist, there are many responsibilities. We have already talked about these two, but at some stage of your career, you also act as a coach, maybe to your juniors, maybe to your client, because your client may be non-technical. You have to help them understand things in simpler manner. Out of all the analysis and insights you get, you make a story out of it, which people can easily understand. You can present that results to non-technical people in easy manner. At the same time, data science is also an art. It's not a pure science, because as I said here, you may get the results, but are they making sense? Are they aligned to the business objective? So many times we may not purely go with what statistics is going to tell us. Many times we stick to our judgment plus what statistics are going to tell us. So a lot of art is needed as you grow in this role. That's where this consultant roles or leadership role comes into picture. And you may not be expert in this right in the beginning. It's possible in the beginning, your seniors are going to help you with it. But as you grow, you learn this art with experience. Okay, fair enough. There's a question from Bharat. Data science jobs involve repeated tasks or its technology changes over time? So Bharat, both. It does change over a period of time. Your methods, your tools will change. When I started working in analytics, the kind of tools, techniques we were using, especially the tools, are completely unheard or obsolete now. But yes, some part of work, basic methods, basic way to deal with data will be same even with the time. Okay. Guys, am I audible properly now? Sorry, I just saw Sabrish's message. Okay, now it's fine. Great. Okay, there is one very interesting question from Mukul. Is there benefit? This I will take because this is going to be not one profile, but this is something which is applicable to large population and in good context. Is there benefits of giving my time just at 2 years in today's MBA or MTech work, integrated learning in data science or business analytics, because we'll give both degree and skills? Okay, so Mukul, it depends at what stage of career you are. Okay. Now, for some people, what happens? They need master's degree on their CV. So it is important for them to gain that degree, right? And many of these students who are pursuing this master's, MTech or MBA still come to us for the certification course. And I'll tell you the reason behind it. Most of the times, almost every time, these degrees, MTechs, etc., are very academic oriented. The kind of learning you will have is there, but it's not very job oriented for, let's say, our program or other similar programs. So while they are pursuing those programs, degrees, post graduations, they still enroll for certification programs like ours so that they acquire more target and job oriented skills. If you are someone, you are just looking for a career and you already have a decent education background, then the ROI of degree will be very, very marginal, especially in short term. And then you may just want to pursue a certification course. Let's say you already have a master's or you are already working. You are looking for a career switch. So rather than spending 2 years, the ROI would be better if you are looking for, let's say, an upskilling based, job oriented based courses. So the answer to a question is both, but it depends on what type of profile you have. So I hope I have answered. So based on whether you fall into first category or second category, you can take a call. Yashwant, yes. Even for commerce background, it's there. Placement guarantee programs are available even for commerce background. It's just that we evaluate each profile at that point of time. Hrishi, not a problem. Career gap, of course, more it is, more challenging it becomes. But 3 years is something very easily handleable. So it shouldn't be a problem. But of course, this is further we'll have to decide on base to waste 1 year of the thing. Okay. So guys, what we'll do is we'll stop for a short 5 minutes break. And once we come back from the break, we want to spend more time on understanding the job roles and profiles, because that's the bulk of the question. And I understand that's what everyone wants to know more, and which is totally understandable. So when we come back, I want to spend a lot of time on different job roles, responsibility, and which course for whom what profile will work, right? But before that, we'll also spend a couple of minutes to understand how data or data science, data engineering works at enterprise level. What is the role of it? Okay. So that's once we resume. Please stay logged in. We'll resume in, let's say right now, that time by my watch is 12:15. So just in 5 minutes, we will resume. At 12:20, we will resume.
Hi, my name is Archish Rai Kapil, and I have been in the field of data science for more than 3 years now. I started my journey against the popular opinion, not from a quantitative field. I actually did my 11th and 12th grade in commerce, and then I did my bachelor's from the University of Delhi in BA History Honors. And after that, I just decided I wanted to change my field, and the field that I chose was data science. And initially, I started off with from the very basics. I went out and I wanted to look for a course. I came across this institute known as Analytixlabs, and that's where I started my journey. Initially, I started off with the very basics. I started off with very proper and simple software such as Excel. Then I proceeded to SQL, and finally I did SAS, and I did a couple of certification or my SAS certification, and after that I landed up a job. However, I didn't stop learning there, and then I did a couple of certifications in R and Python. And this is where I would say things got serious. And I kept on doing this, and so much so that eventually I ended up making my own blog. I even did a couple of research papers, and finally, I even wrote a book on data science. So that was my progression. And when people ask me that is this particular field for people from specific academic background, and I just say, look at me, I am the prime example. I had no quantitative background or anything related to it. However, the only thing I had was persistence. I was persistent and I kept on doing things. So, as you know, data science is an amalgamation of multiple fields. So, I had to learn statistics, I had to learn mathematics, I had to learn programming when things got serious, as I said, and I was learning R and Python. However, I kept on learning, I kept on applying, and I kept on providing knowledge to other people who were just starting off with their journey. Right now, after doing a brief stint of 2.5 years in the airline industry, I currently work as a data scientist at the place where I started off in Analytixlabs. Here I do my normal projects for different clients, and also I act as a trainer for making people learn data science in R as well as Python. So, I mean, if anybody thinks that, where should I start or if this journey is for me or not, my only advice to you would be to not think about where you are and, where you want to start from. The only thing you should concentrate is where you want to reach. And more or less, this is my story and this is how I became a data scientist. Any domain evolves over a period of time, and that is the same case with data science. When I started off with data science, my understanding of data science was very primitive and very simple. The basic understanding was that you have tables and you have a normal data, and you simply find certain things such as finding the mean, finding other simple arithmetic things. However, when I progressed in data science and I started to realize that it was much more than it seemed. We have a lot of statistics and mathematics going on, which allow us not only to just mine data and understand just very casual patterns in the data, but we actually create products out of it. These products are then used in our laptops, in our Android, in our any product or any system that we come across. Now, eventually, when I learned all of this and I finally got the chance to implement all of this, then I had a very different understanding of all of this. I started my career in the airline industry, and what I realized was whatever I was implementing in the data, what kind of feedback it got. So, for instance, I got a data and I came up with some insight. On the basis of that insight, a new policy was formed, a new product was created, and if my insight was wrong, the product was wrong, and the feedback that people will give us will also be wrong, right? So this is the thing that which is much more deep than what we initially think it to be. And right now, what it seems that data science is growing much more than it was. Data science is now expanding into areas that we never thought it would. For instance, right now, data science is getting into marketing. I mean, around let's say 10 years back, nobody thought that data science and marketing will become so indispensable. However, this is the case right now. So, right now, data science is getting into all the fields that are possible, and I guess the future of data science is going to be once it reaches all the various fields.
Okay, thank you guys. We'll resume now. Okay, so what we are trying to do here, we are trying to understand data science at an enterprise level, which will also help us to understand the job roles better. So as we know, everything starts from data. And in current world, there are multiple sources of data. So you have smart watches, devices, even cars these days generate the data and that is stored. Your security devices, let's say camera, etc. Your online servers, e-commerce servers, then ERP, like enterprise resource planning, CRM systems, apps like Dropbox, Google, mobile-based apps, it's social media, gaming apps. So there could be numerous of sources of data for any business in present world. And some part of this data is structured, some part of it is unstructured. So what do we mean by that? Structured data is, let's say, the data which can be stored into tables, Excel files, SQL tables, etc. Unstructured is text data, chat data, the comments you put on Twitter or social media, even the speech, which the chat or the call we have with the customer care, that is all your unstructured data. Now, to make use of this data, every business first needs to ingest this data, store it, and most of the time this is cloud storage these days. That's the big trend. That is one of the things which makes Amazon such a huge business entity. AWS, which many of you might have heard about, Amazon Web Services, their most profitable business. Now, what happens is, when they ingest the data, as I said, they are coming from different sources. This is coming from unstructured sources, structured sources. So a lot of processing has to be done. And typically this kind of process is called ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading, that store the data, make it usable for the businesses for various purposes. You want to create an app out of it, you want to do analytics on it. So the whole process of dealing with data in real time, close to real time, storing, cleaning, make it available to the business, that is called data engineering. So the side which you see in this screen, capturing, processing, and making the data available to the business is your data engineering side. And this is actually highly sought after job role. Data scientists everyone knows about. Most people do not think about data engineering, but a lot of hiring we have seen since mid of 2021 till now is in data engineering. So we, in fact, do not get enough data engineers as much as the openings we get versus data analyst or data scientist. So if your profile fits into data engineering type of role, seriously consider pursuing it. Then once the data is available, comes the engineering side, the data engineering side. So in this case, data science side. So we are talking about now data is in a shape we can extract into our servers, into our tables, into our laptops, online cloud-based analytics systems, where we might do, let's say, descriptive analytics, simple analytics, which we talk about. We may do predictive analytics, machine learning. We may create mobile apps out of it. So the journey of 5 stages, descriptive to cognitive, all that is possible because there is a data engineering at the back end, which is making that data available. And data science teams, analytics team can consume that data for whatever business objective they are trying to achieve, right? Of course, there are a lot of other details, but I'm right now keeping it simple, but I hope you get a sense that at enterprise level, both data engineering and data science go hand in hand, and they are very important for everyone. Now, having understood this data flow or the data science flow, it will be easier for us to understand the job roles. So the first one is, of course, data engineer. Now, when I say job role, you may interpret it as teams, you may understand as designations. Sometimes your designation may be data analyst, but you still may be doing a lot of responsibility, which data engineering is, engineer is supposed to do. Because, for example, if you are working in a startup or a small company, or if you're working in a consulting company or a service company, you are expected to do a lot of things. One person or one team is expected to do a lot of things. For example, in initial phase of my career, I have played all these three roles. Because as I said, there were no designations like these at that point of time. I have played all these three roles. If you're working in a large company, in a large bank, you're working in Amazon, Citibank, HSBC, right? There you will have designated teams for each of these areas based on what they want to achieve. So first thing is data engineer, who is helping us to collect the data from various sources, as we discussed in previous slide, store it, process it, and then make it available for further consumption. The next job role is of data analyst, whose primary responsibility is, once the data is available, collect that data, processes based on our business objective. Data munging is like data manipulation, like data scrubbing, which we talked about in third, fourth slide in the beginning. Visualize that data, present that data, then analyze that data. This analysis could be descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, sometimes it could be statistical analysis, right? And even a data analyst is expected to do a basic predictive modeling, if not advanced machine learning or something like that. So basic statistical skills or basic predictive analytics skills are even expected from data analyst. Now, one thing which I would mention here, sometimes this job role will be called data analyst, sometimes it would be called as analyst, sometimes it will be called business analyst. They, in analytics context, do very similar things. Now, what does a data scientist do? Data scientist is expected to do everything which data analyst is doing, right? Plus special ability to deal with unstructured and structured data, use machine learning models, deal with text data, natural language processing, if you see the last point. So some of these skills, especially on this side, is the key differentiator between data analyst and data scientist, because here you are expected to be very well versed with machine learning, and you should be also able to deal with unstructured data, which is primarily your text data or natural processing data. Otherwise, we have seen someone may be hired as data analyst, but still might be playing some responsibility of a data scientist. Sometimes it's funny that companies will hire you as data scientist, but 80% of the times or almost all the time you are playing the role of data analyst. So this is one point which I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, that always go through the job descriptions and details rather than just the designations. We always tell this to our students at the interview preparation stage. So even if you are a beginner, right? So I would say the core skills of data analyst and data scientist is something you must champion, because even if you're applying for a data analyst role, companies would prefer a candidate who understands machine learning. Maybe they may not know very advanced machine learning, but they do understand machine learning, and with role, with time, as they need to grow, they can take care of those responsibilities also. The other side of it is which is advanced, which is typically for people, especially from very technical background, AI engineering or AI specialist roles. So these candidates or these people do need to understand data science methods. They may not work on these hands-on like a data scientist, but they need to understand. They need to also understand deep learning and AI techniques, which especially how to use them on cloud infrastructure, because when you are playing in the role of AI, then the kind of computation power and the amount of data you need is huge. So it cannot work on your traditional or conventional methods or machines. And they also need to understand a special part of ML called ML Ops, machine learning operations, for translating these data science outputs, these data science solutions, right, for large scale AI solutions, right? So I would say AI specialist is kind of a role if you're coming from computer engineering, computer science, IT background, development background, then you should consider. Otherwise, this is one role which you may not consider at the beginning of your career. Many of the students who studied from us in past now come back to us for specializing in AI or AI engineering role. But yes, there could be candidates based on your education background. We have programs where you can target everything end to end. So if I talk about now specifically, sorry, 1 second. This is, yeah. So if I talk about the courses which are mapped to it, right? So if you are just targeting the role of data analyst, you can consider Business Analytics 360 course, which will be covering your descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive. Predictive, not an advanced machine learning concept, but basics. But good if you're coming from, let's say, completely non-technical background and you have your doubts whether you will be able to do data science 360 or not. The next is our flagship program. It is also in association with Nascom, Government of India, where there is also scholarship. After you complete this program, Government of India directly gives you an incentive of 8,000 rupees in your account post certification. And the certification method and all that is very easy. The additional difference between data science and business analytics 360 is machine learning part, text mining and natural language processing part, and some ML ops, which is needed or will make you more competitive. If there are 5 more candidates for the same job role, you should shine out as a more competitive candidate. So we always try to have that extra edge in our courses when you face the interviews. The last one, integrated program in data science. This is only if your profile is shortlisted for this. We do not offer this to everyone. So if you have got it, even if you see, you will not find it on our course pages. This is somewhere hidden in the offers, but only few profiles do qualify for this course. Very extensive course, equivalent to 2 years of degree. You can complete at Analytixlabs in 1 or 1.5 years based on how much time you have. But it covers everything from data engineering to AI specialist. Now, there are programs where you can also get a combination of data engineering with data science. These are some of the customized programs. Only if they're applicable to you will be suggested. If you have interest in them, you can inquire more about it. But these are the 3 main programs when candidates are looking to start their career in data science domain. We see has maximum success rate, and especially the data science 360 in terms of the curriculum, the course content. They support the industry-backed certification, Government of India validation. That's a huge part of this thing. So there were some questions related to the profile, etc. I'll start taking that up in short while, and I'll come back to this slide again to answer those questions, right? Especially I'm from technical background, non-technical background, what course to take, which one to take, etc. But let me throw a little more light on in-depth modules of these courses so that it's easy for you to evaluate. So first thing, as I said, Data Science 360 course is approved by Nascom, aligned to industry standards. And there are 9 national occupation standards which are set up by a company like EY, Deloitte, etc. KPMG. This program is aligned to, and it falls under the deep skill category of Nascom. So post completion of this program, you will be getting a certificate from Analytixlabs and Nascom, validated by Government of India. You will also get a scholarship of 8,000 directly deposited to your account. The other side of it is, even if you are considering, let's say, Business Analytics 360 with this scholarship, the cost for Business Analytics and Data Science 360 becomes very, very similar. So if you have any questions, doubts, you can discuss more on that offline with your respective career counselors. They can throw more light on this. Spending 2 minutes in each of the courses modules. So as I said, integrated covers everything from your data engineering to AI. So you start from building blocks. Even if you are, let's say, non-programmer, you are starting with very basics, right? So we have some basic building blocks that can help you to ramp up and start learning with minimal of challenges. Then you move to data visualization analytics, where you learn Excel, Tableau, SQL primarily. There are some optional modules like VBA. Need basis you may learn or you may not. We have kept it optional based on the preference. And if you come across any job interview where they need VBA, you should have that content available to you. After learning visualization analytics, so basically at this stage, you have covered your descriptive analytics. Then we move to data science and machine learning Python, which basically takes you to the predictive analytics part, and focusing on Python for both diagnostic, descriptive, and predictive. This is actually a very detailed part here. You just see one block, but this alone takes about 3-4 months to complete. The fourth module is on the data engineering. If you remember, this is a program which is taking you from data engineering to AI. So definitely data engineering is an important part of this program, which we cover. Next is AI and deep learning, which is basically you need to take care of advanced deep learning models, applied AI models, your AI engineering based roles, AI specialist roles. And then ML ops and model deployment, which is basically you have a model, you have a data science solution. Now, how do you build a solution out of it, which can be deployed at enterprise level? And towards the end, you also spend time in industry applications. So of course, you have learned a lot of industry applications through case studies and projects. But here you are also spending a lot of time in understanding different use cases in most important industry, let's say banking, finance, healthcare, even retail, online or offline retail, etc. So this we keep changing based on the hiring requirements, based on the hiring pattern which we see in the industry. This is the superset, I would say. The next two courses are basically the subset of this. So in Data Science 360, basically what happens is your data engineering and AI deep learning is going to be removed. Rest of the modules are there. Let's say building blocks, data visualization analytics, Python for data science, predictive modeling and machine learning, text mining and NLP, introduction to AI and cloud computing. This is not in depth, this is introduction. ML ops, I talked about, small module, but it makes a lot of difference when it comes to hiring. This is a trend we have seen post 2019, and same industrial and functional sessions. The last course, Business Analytics 360, again, is a smaller version of what we have already talked about. So your text mining and AI, cloud computing and ML ops, basically your 5, 6, and 7, and some part of 4th is going to get removed. So you are focusing on building blocks, data analytics and visualization, Python for data science. You are not going deep dive into machine learning. Predictive modeling, yes, and basic of machine learning. We are not going deep dive into machine learning here, right? Because if you're targeting a simpler course for data analyst role track, machine learning, you need basics. For all the three courses, we have some optional modules. For example, sometimes we get candidates, they need R also. So we have optional e-learning modules available at a very, very nominal cost. The cost for this program is otherwise 20,000 plus taxes for data science with R. I think as part of this combination, you can avail this as 4,000 plus taxes, because our objective is you should get a job, right? If let's say you have learned all this and just because of one additional module, there is some challenge, that should be available to you at a very nominal cost with the best possible support available. So this is about the courses. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend time on your question answers, which I think are pending in the chat. But before that, there is one thing which we have compiled. There are a lot more. Some you have seen, for example, Archish feedback, his story you have seen. As for your reference, we can share more. For example, sometime we get candidates who come from academics background, right? They were into teaching. Now they want to switch to corporate, right? So Nikunj is one recent candidate who I think for into teaching for about 7 years or so, now has got job in EXL service in analytics. Similarly, another case where as a data analyst, Karthik has got a very good package of close to 14 lakh rupees. Another candidate got 160% hike post the job switch, right? Arshish, we have already talked about education background is BA honors. Similarly, we have Vandana Arya. She had, I think, already had 8-10 years of experience or some career break and got hired at IDFC Bank. Then Sarthak, he got his first job. And when he moved to business analyst analytics, the move was with 50% hike. I think the amount of experience he had was very, very less. So this is just for a quick reference. There are more which you can refer to based on your profile. Career counselors can help you with it. Now let's quickly move to your questions and help you to understand what job role, what kind of career makes sense. And one request, guys, I'm just checking the chat now, but your question should go into Q&A so that nothing is left out. Okay, so Bharat had a question. Do we get area knowledge like finance, marketing, e-commerce? Bharat, yes, I think I've already answered the industry section, which I talked about, industry and functional sections. That is the domain knowledge or the domain sessions we spend time so that you understand the business and the different domains where analytics will be applied and you may land up into job into one of these areas. Okay, so Arpit had repeated one thing. So I think I'll do that again. So Arpit, Data Science 360 course, which we have, which primarily helps you to target data and business data analyst role and data scientist role, is validated and mandated by Government of India initiative in collaboration with Nascom. This course is, of course, subset of integrated. So even if anyone is opting for integrated, they will still getting the certificate for data science portion. Now, how this is mapped based on our curriculum, companies like EY, KPMG, Deloitte, I think when we did it, it was with EY. They validate whether our course curriculum is industry aligned or not, how much depth it covers. And it allows, then it maps it to national occupation standards. So our course Data Science 360 is mapped to 9 national occupation standards related to analytics and data science job roles. The validation of this program also comes from the fact once you complete this program, Government of India pays you 8,000 rupees and this money you directly get into your bank account. And it is made in very easy manner. There are simple about 25 questions test for this certification and for this scholarship. Of course, for whole placement and career assistance from with Analytixlabs, you also need to work on the projects and case studies. Do you have any specific questions on this program, or does this help you to understand it now? Arpit? Okay, I think Arpit may be not there right now. Kanika, no. To learn AI specialist course, you need to go through Data Science 360 because machine learning is an important part of it. So that is not covered in business analytics course. So you have to do Data Science 360, or let's say if you do business analytics 360, first you will have to do machine learning and then you can do AI because these concepts are interrelated. Deepika, I think I already answered the question. There is a test for the Nascom certificate, but it's a very reasonable test because we want maximum students to achieve that. That's even what even government wants. Yeah, Ajit, I think, yeah. Ajit, it's fine. So MCOM background, it's perfectly fine. In past also, we had candidates from MCOM background made switch to analyst. It's fine. You can definitely pursue it. Of course, we would want to understand more about your profile. For that, connect with the counseling team if needed. They will help you to connect with me during the week. Saurav has a question. Want to take break after data visualization if I get an internship? Yeah, sort of there is a provision to take some pause. Exact terms and how does it work, I do not know, but this kind of scenario we have factored in. You can take a pause after completing one continuous part of the course before you start with the next part of the course. Yes, even if you start, join the classroom, you can get the recorded sessions. So guys, all the programs are available in classroom in Noida, Gurgaon, and Bangalore. They are also available live online. They are also available in blended learning program, which many students opt for because it's also cost efficient. For example, you will get the recordings of the lectures. You go through it at your own pace and speed. Every weekend, there are doubt sessions conducted. So you will log in for your topic and a doubt, even if you are learning things at your pace, but that live doubts are available every weekend. So that's one of the very good models we have, blended learning models we have, different from the usual e-learning where there is no live support. So this is something, if let's say there is a cost concern or there is time availability concern, you might want to explore this learning model, and all courses are available with it. And in all these three learning model, live online, classroom, and blended, you get recordings. So recordings are available to you. Kanika, yes. As I already mentioned, people from marketing and sales background, banking background, they do pursue. Again, we would want to know more about your total years of experience, role, responsibilities package that we can discuss offline, one-to-one. Career counseling team can help you. They will help you to connect with me if needed. Okay. So guys, no more questions on the chat, please. I am switching to the Q&A section where I'll be taking up the questions there. This will allow us that nothing is left unanswered. Sabri, sorry, I'm starting from the bottom. You might want to keep clearing it as I pick up the question.
Sure, Sumeet, yeah.
So first question is from Harsha N, which I'm taking. Harsha, yes, it is a job guarantee program. There could be some exceptions where job guarantee is not applicable, which we communicate with you clearly at the stage of career counseling. Exact term conditions we can share with you post that. But broadly, the term conditions are: you have completed the course in timely manner, you have done your assignments and projects and proper certification in timely manner, you appear for the interviews when there is an opportunity, you are open to work in all the metro cities in India. And also, if there is a feedback which is coming, let's say you are paid for 2-3 interviews, but you are not able to clear, we look into it more closely, we help you, and there is a feedback which you will get, you need to work on, right? Broadly, these are the term conditions that institute is putting best effort in your success. Similar commitment and effort should come from the student also. That's the biggest term and condition. The other details, Sabrish and team can share with you. Ritika, see, we 85% or more students, and especially if we look at the current job market post-COVID, more than 90% of students who complete the course, they get the job, right? In fact, there are job profiles, etc., where we do not have enough candidates which to serve the openings we get. So I shared in the beginning, the co-founding team, the core team is very much focused. So for example, Ankita, one of the team members, her major focus is maximum students should be able to complete the course and get eligible for the placements. It's just that sometimes it may take time, but we would be providing continuous support to you, work with the feedback, whatever it is needed to get placed. So in current job scenario, it's not a big concern. In fact, guys, I'll share one interesting thing. The world has changed. It's all about upskilling, relevant skilling, right? And doing what it takes to do value add in the job. So this initiative which you see, it's Government of India. Did we think about it 5 years back that Government of India would be incentivizing a course for upskilling to help professionals to learn new skills and change their job? But that's a reality because they do understand this is the need of the hour. This is how industry will thrive. So for any economy, country, or even organizations, if they have to do well, they need to focus on learning new skills, upskilling, and proceed. Okay. Vinod, yes, Cbond, SciPy, Matplotlib, all these, of course, standard packages are included in Data Science 360 course. Don't worry about that. Okay, Murli, question from Murli, Murli Mohan. Murli, I would say relatively low, because if I think about it, especially the government related traditional universities and schools, they are still catching up, but they understand this is the way to go. So if it is, let's say, edtech like us, we do a lot of data science behind teaching data science. But if you talk about a normal data science program, a school or college program, they're still catching up. So somewhat limited scope is there, we see there. Akash has a question. Recording is available for how many days? Akash, the recording of your lectures is available for 1 year. And important point to understand is in 1 year, the things, the concepts may evolve. But for any genuine reason, if students come back to us, that can be extended to another year or so. No, Annie, so do you get chance to sit for the interviews for the course? So in some cases, based on your profile, our commitment will be only assistance. But for large chunk of audience, students, it is actually full-fledged interview, helping you to get the interview calls, prepare for those interviews. So a lot of activity goes into it, the mock interviews, etc. So it is not just career assistance, which institutes do say for sake of saying it. No, we have a dedicated cell, very senior team members, co-founders, core team members are very much focused on the student success, that how many are getting the job, how many are getting eligible for the job. So this is something they do day in, day out as part of their work.
Sumit, just want to quickly launch a poll. We'll take a 2 minutes break.
Sure.
Guys, launching a poll, kindly share your thoughts. It'll be live for 2 minutes. Kindly take 2 minutes to fill this up.
Guys, quickly urging you, everyone, please take care of this. It will help us to understand your needs better.
We have close to 80% participated, remaining 20%. Kindly spare a few minutes. Thank you, guys. I think majority have participated. Thanks for that.
Okay. Thank you. We'll resume with the question. So next time, picking up Ankita Patnaik's question. Ankita, yes, I think this question you asked early on, it's already answered. So large chunk of our candidates are not from engineering background. There are some programs to begin with. We suggest engineering background, let's say data engineering or AI specialist. Otherwise, for business analytics 360 or data science 360 programs, engineering background, it is not mandatory. And that's the reason I had shown you in the curriculum. We have spent initial amount of effort on fundamental building blocks, etc., where engineering, non-engineering candidates can learn things well. Okay. Vaishnavi Rajgiris. So again, similar question. We are entering in IT recruiter, won't reject our CV? No. Vaishnavi, if as a non-engineer, it's an extension of the previous question only. You are applying for, let's say, an AI engineering role, then of course they will not accept it. But if you're applying for a data science, business analytics, data analyst role, it's fine. And at end of the day, that's where industry relevant certification comes into picture. They understand that you may have studied something else, but now your preferences, industry needs evolve, right? Unfortunately, we are not 10 years old or 5 years old India. Now everyone understands the need for upskilling, learning new skills. So if you have added new skills, there's a relevant certification behind it, they will be open for a reasonable career switch. So that won't be a problem. Vineet, I think your question is also answered. You understand the main difference between a data analyst and data science role would be dealing with unstructured data, text mining data, natural language processing data, and machine learning techniques. Otherwise, there is a lot of overlap between these two. It's just that the complexity of data and the type of data and the type of problems, they become more sophisticated and complex as you move to data science versus data analyst. There is, by the way, a very good blog we have on this. If you just go or on our blog and just search data science versus data analyst, you will get a very detailed information on it. Maybe we can also share it with you post the session. Sabrish, if possible, please note down this request. We can share it with the group. Arsh had a question, currently in second year, pursuing BCA. So Arsh, typically this course is useful if you are a recent graduate in final year or close to, let's say, complete your graduation in a year. So this course is useful. It's just that, let's say if it will take you 3 years or 2 years to complete your graduation as of now, in that case, you may do it, but you make a request to us early on, because there could be some refresher or additional sessions we can arrange for you again when you are going to graduate, so that when it comes to placements, you still have relevant learning at that point of time. So, but in broad sense, if you're going to complete graduation in about a year or so, you can start learning, because anyway, to complete the course and all that in about a year will go by. So Kashif Kamran, automation in data science. I think I already answered your question, so marking that. Okay. Ankit Doot, data science course is based on theoretical knowledge or practical knowledge? Ankit, both. As I said, it's an art. You need some statistical knowledge, but you need a lot of practical sense that in business, where does that apply, right? So a good data scientist, a good business analyst will bring in a right balance of theory and practice. And even in our course, if you see, we spend 20-30% duration on theoretical concepts. A lot of focus is in practical, that when you deal with the real life problems, when you deal with real life data, how do you solve that problem? How do you deal with that problem? Okay. Is this a question also from someone who's starting their career? Again, from Ankita. Yes, absolutely. Data Science 360, Business Analytics 360 is absolutely meant if you are a beginner. You can definitely start with that program. Naveen Reddy, again, non-technical background can switch to IT. I have already answered this question. If you have more doubts on it, specific to your profile, happy to connect with you guys offline in the coming week. So Akash has a question, what fresher opportunity does it have in data science? So Akash, if I talk about the job roles, which we have seen in last few years for freshers, sometimes we see a job role as it is data scientist, sometimes associate data scientist, sometimes junior data scientist, sometimes business analyst, data analyst, right? These are the job roles. But as a fresher, we see 70-80% of the focus is on the data analytics skills, 20-30% focus is on the machine learning or predictive analytics skills. As I already mentioned many times, students are hired as data scientists, but mostly working on data analytics responsibilities for initial 1 or 2 years. On the other side, we have also seen cases where the designation says business analyst or analytics consultant, but they are actually working a lot on the data science or machine learning responsibilities. But the one big factor, because at the end of the day, we have a common objective to get hired. We have seen if you have machine learning knowledge, even if that job right now may not need machine learning, as a candidate, you would be preferred and your prospect of getting hired will be much better. Okay, some of the things are just answers from you guys, so I am just marking them quickly. Okay, mechanical engineering. So there is a question from Arunacham. So I already answered it. I'm also from mechanical engineering. In fact, my first job was with Reliance Petroleum, right before I actually decided to join AbsolutData. So it doesn't matter. It's perfectly fine. In fact, few things which you learned in mechanical engineering, let's say stats, basic statistical quality control, all those learnings can be useful here also. Okay. Okay, there is a question from Shreya, a detailed one. Give me a minute, I'll go through it and I'll also repeat it for everyone. So she's working in mainframe technology. The role on paper is like a technical role, but also deals with some business aspects. For example, many clients are from insurance companies, so they need to understand this domain. Her question is transition to data analytics or business analytics career possible for technical person, or is it expected from a person who has experience in business domain? Shreya, see, this is something we have discussed, but in another form, it's the same thing. A successful business analyst or data scientist will have combination of both technical skills and domain understanding, because the technical skills or the analytic skills you have to apply in the context of business only. So for someone like you who has shown already experience in working in technical area, while understand an important industry like insurance, which leverages analytics a lot. So by the way, insurance is one of the earliest adopter of data science and analytics, and they use it a lot. So for your kind of profile, it would be excellent to pursue a course. You can think of Data Science 360, or even there is another course we have, Applied AI, which has a lot of overlap in Data Science 360. You can show that you have worked and good understanding in this domain, let's say insurance domain in your case. As part of your role, you get also exposure to deal with data, hence develop the interest. So take your profile with bit of more technical flavor, at the same time someone who can be very good candidate for insurance companies or companies which serve insurance companies. I talked about for one of the ex-students, he recently got a job in EXL service after 7 years into academics. So EXL, for example, a large portion of their business comes from insurance clients. I have myself done trainings for their insurance teams. So it's a good combination, right? So answer is both. So the type of course you will choose will vary. If you were someone with pure technical experience, I would have suggested you to go with this or this. Since you also understand that domain, you may consider this course, or there's another course we have, Applied AI course. If you just check on our website, you will find it. It's available even on the homepage. That will be a very good choice for you. Tarun, yes. There would be small variation in the salary if you're from non-technical background initially, but later on it does not matter. So it's going to be perfectly fine. So let's say when I say the starting average salary for a fresher is 4.5. Now, if you are, let's say, from BCA background, BBA background, it's possible your salary might be 4.5. If you are from engineering from one of the very good colleges, your starting salary might be 6.5 or 7 also, right? So initially, yes, that's a hard truth. There would be variation, but soon, based on your performance, how you do and go about it, the thing starts normalizing. Even when I started my job, my salary was lower. for some of the people who were, let's say, hired from IITs, etc. But after 1 year, our salary was same, or in some cases, my salary was higher than them. So initially, that differentiation could be there, but then it normalizes based on your experience. There's a question from Bandana Dora. Yeah. Experience in real estate sector as an engineer, how it can help me. Bandana, if you are looking to make a career switch, I understand that's a question. We need to connect offline on this, because how much experience do you have, what kind of role you play, all those things will come into picture. Let's say if you have 15 years of experience, then it will be a difficult thing. If you have lesser amount of experience, 3-5 years of experience, it's doable. In fact, I still remember many years back, this is 2013, I had one student, she was doing sales in real estate with one of the large companies. And I had that point of time suggested her not to go for the course. And of course, at that point of time, analytics was not that mature also. It was 9 years back. But she still insisted to join and do the course. To my surprise, when the batch was starting, she was there. And it actually gives me a great deal of pleasure to be proven wrong. She then started her first job with a company called Exteria, which is still a very good known company in analytics. I think right now she has already switched the job in 2-3 more good opportunities. So real estate sector does not matter. Engineering, in fact, would be helpful. In her case, she was doing sales. So you can imagine non-technical person and sales, but still excelled in pursuing that career. Okay, Ravi has a question. BCom background, I already answered that. Ravi, not a problem. You may not be able to start as a data scientist to begin with, but data analyst definitely you can target. Okay, this is also answered. So some questions I've already answered. I'm just marking them, guys, right now. Karan has a question, again, very similar, commerce background. Where should I start from? Karan, consider either business analytics 360 or data science 360. If you are ready to invest little more time and effort, I would suggest data science 360, given the kind of certification you get in that program, will really help you to stand out. But in case you do not feel comfortable with that, you can definitely start with Business Analytics 360 course. Okay. Chirag's question already answered. So Akshay has a question, pharma background, Akshay Jain, 6 years of experience in manufacturing in pharma. Can I switch to software testing now? So Akshay, I can't really say about software testing. I can only answer in case of analytics or data analyst. So in 2012, actually, I worked on one project with one of the India's largest pharma companies where we used analytics to optimize their drug manufacturing operations. So in short, pharma is another area where a lot of application happens, but I probably need to evaluate your profile in more detail to answer in exact sense. At a broader sense, people coming from pharma background, even with 6 years of experience, is a fairly good deal to make a career switch. But probably you may want to connect with us offline, share your CV and discuss in more detail, because a lot of things will matter. What type of company are you working with, the exact role responsibilities, if you're dealing with any kind of data or not at all. Okay. Tejas Wagmare has a question. BSc background, completed post-graduation in maths. So Tejas, in fact, this is one of the conducive backgrounds because even let's say people who do BSc in maths, stats, econometrics, any of these quant fields, these candidates are preferred in analytics domain. And on top of it, if you have done post-graduation in maths, or for that matter, even if you would have been stats or econometrics, definitely one of the preferred candidates, I would say, in data science. Okay. Harsh has a question. After working as data analyst, can we go for other courses for upgrading? Yes, Harsh, absolutely. So you may do one course now, start your career, right? And very often we get our old students coming to do more advanced courses or further upskilling. So not a problem at all. Shubham's question already answered. Santosh has a question. Want to become a data analyst. If I join Business Analytics 360, will I get same support like DS 360 course? Santosh, yes, the support will be same like BA 360 course, but in DS 360, we are not able to provide the placement guarantee. The reason is when we look at the most of the job roles, right, they do expect machine learning, etc. related concepts. So hence in Business Analytics 360, we are not able to provide it. If you are specifically looking for job guarantee based programs, please consider at least Data Science 360. Vipin had a question on the scholarship part. I think I explained that again. Guys, sorry, in case any unanswered question, we'll be taking care of it offline. I will be connecting with you. Tarun has a question, very good question. How much time do I need in a week to master the course? So Tarun, on average, we feel 8 to 10 hours. Some students may need even just 6 hours and some students may need 12 to 15 hours also. It depends. If you're a working professional, I understand taking out 15 hours may not be possible, right? So based on your situation, consult with the career counselor. But on average, we see candidates investing 8 to 10 hours on top of your classes are able to do well. Abhilash Sima, mechanical engineering background, worked in design. Abhilash, for this kind of mid-career switch, hands-on Data Science 360. And again, big reason for it, the government mandated thing, the certification. Tejas, I think your question is already answered. Data Science 360 versus Business Analytics 360 difference. So Divya has a point. BCA student want to join data scientist and data analytics both. So Divya, if you just do data science 360 course, it will cover both. So you don't need to join two separate courses. Data science 360 already covers what is covered in data analyst course. So you can simply go with data science 360 course. Saurabh has a question. I can only join in online mode, but I feel Analytixlabs is more focused offline. As my counselor has told that offline batches are available in online mode also, but I feel it won't be that streamlined as compared to other institutions. So Saurabh, just a misconception. You may join and try, right? 70% of our students actually do online. We do have offline for some people who prefer it. But in terms of job support, in terms of doubt support, in terms of question answers or how interactive would it be, it would be beat most of the institutions which are even pure online. So don't worry about that. And as I said, don't go by my words. Ask for any demo lecture which would be delivered at the same time offline and online, and you will be able to make out the difference. that there is no change in the effectiveness. And as I said, 2020 to 2021 mid, it was all online. We have been doing online way before everyone else was doing. We have been doing online since 2011. In 2012, we started some offline. Even today, 70% of students or more are doing online, so not a problem. And he has a question, Power BI included in analytics course? No, we simply go with the jobs. More number of jobs are on Tableau as of now. When they will be on Power BI, we will be switching to Power BI, but we have an option for you to learn Power BI. So if it's an additional module, very cost reasonably priced. If you want, counselor can help you with it. So not a problem. I would suggest you may learn one of it right now. And if you feel the need for any jobs or interviews, we can help you to learn other second one also. Okay, Kanika's question, I think I've already answered. Okay. Vinayak is from BCA plus MSc background. Vinayak, I would suggest go with Data Science 360. In case for any reason you don't want, then at least Business Analytics 360. Okay. Karan, yes, with Business Analytics 360, the entry-level jobs you can very well land. It's just that, as I said, sometimes companies would prefer a candidate with machine learning knowledge also. There you may face challenge. So in terms of expanding the job possibilities, Data Science 360 is better course. For any reason you are not keen about it, consult with us once. But to simple answer to your question, you can do Business Analytics 360 for entry-level jobs, definitely. So Ajay has a question. What is a major challenge we'll face while learning and how much time have to spend self-practice? Guys, the biggest challenge is your own discipline and compliance. You need to see, whenever we do anything worthy, it takes effort and commitment. We are talking about a career transition, which is, let's say, going to be rewarding for years to come. So it's not going to be, let's say, a side hobby thing. You have to stay focused. You have to be committed. You have to give certain time in self-study, which I said is average 8 to 10 hours, can vary based on your profile, is the biggest thing. So if you do that, we have seen like all sort of profiles succeeding very well, not just in doing the course, but in the jobs as well. Another question, IBM certification. So guys, till till 2022 March, we had IBM certification inbuilt into our programs. However, now we have made it optional because it was increasing the course fee. We wanted to make it more affordable. The IBM certification, if you want it now, is possible, is optional and without any additional fee, right? So if post doing this course, if you feel the need or you want to pursue IBM certification, let the training team know. They will guide you and you can do it without any additional cost. Abhishek, how do we get the Nascom certificate? Already told you there is an exam. This is a short exam. Preparation, don't worry. What we are covering in the course, you're automatically prepared for it. So if you have gone through the course, work on your regular assignments, daily project work, etc., there is no special preparation needed. And we will be, in fact, helping with some mock questions and preparation. However, it's not really needed if you have done the basic things right. Okay. So guys, I am just picking up some questions now, which are everyone's benefit. My apologies if your question is not getting answered right now, but as I said, team will help you to answer them offline post the session, or if needed, I'll also connect with you guys during this week. So your respective counselor can help you to book time with me. Okay. I'm just skimming through the questions now, which are unanswered and which will benefit everyone. Harsha has a question which Sabrish you can answer. The question is, what will be the batch size in Bangalore classroom and when is the next batch starting? See if you want to type the answer for Harsha, or you can connect with him offline. I think the batch in Bangalore was probably full. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So we're starting in the first week of August, Harsha, and approximate size for the classroom is around 25 to 30.
So Naveen has a question. I am a beginner in analytics, want to start with very basics. Which course should I begin? Naveen, as I already explained, without worrying, consider Business Analytics 360 or preferably Data Science 360. Both courses start from the very, very basics. You will not find any analytics course which will start from so much of basics. Right, so there are building blocks for non-programming or non-technical background. Then you start with very basic data analytics skills, starting from Excel, then move to SQL. So all those things you are well covered, and we do take care of. So Harsha, alumni feedback. Our counseling team can help you with it, but I want to make it clear to everyone. For the feedback, we are very, very transparent. So there are, of course, some video testimonials which are available. Also, the testimonials which many institutes put on their website, you will not see any validation and all that. In our case, all those testimonials or reviews are also connected to the candidate's LinkedIn account. So we are very, very particular about it. Sometimes we used to have candidates without LinkedIn account. We used to tell them that please create a LinkedIn account. One, of course, professionally it will help you, but we don't want to post a review, or we try not to do that if there is no LinkedIn account genuinely connected to it. So that part definitely we would be taking care of. So Neha has a question, and this could be question from other people who are already very experienced. MBA in HR, but experience in administration for 9 years, right? So Neha, in your case, one thing is, of course, we need to discuss this more in detail offline, one-to-one for detailed profile evaluation. But in general, let's say someone who has this kind of experience may not target hands-on individual contributing data scientist role. You may still choose to be continue, let's say, a professional in the HR admin side, but with skills where data analytics can be used. So your domain may not change, but analytics will become your secondary skill and help you to progress better. For example, I'm just taking an example. It may not be exactly applicable to you. HR analytics is a one in-demand area, and most of the people who do well or do join these programs are from HR background, 5-10 years of experience, sometimes even 15-20 years of experience, but primarily learning analytics, that how to do HR management more scientifically when they are leading or driving large organizations, right? So in this kind of case, we do not recommend to target the data analyst or data scientist job role, but just remember, data analytics literacy, analytics education is something which all job roles in future would need. It's like IT skills, which everyone needed in 90s. Later on, they become bread and butter of no matter what you do. So even in these kind of job roles, you may not go with data science 360 kind of course. You may go with simpler courses business analytics type of course, where you become a professional who can leverage data analytics for that particular domain, which will help you to maybe grow in the same role or a career, make a career switch in an organization where they use. For example, Aon is one company, Elite is probably their newer version, Mercer, they do a lot of HR analytics, right? And lots of people you will find there were not actually analytics professional, but HR professionals are coming from benefits and compensation practice, but learned analytics to do their job better with more value add. Okay. Guys, there are some questions, which is how much average salary I can get, etc. So average we have already talked about. For your particular profile, we need to discuss it with you offline because there are a lot more details which goes into it. Zad, I think I already addressed that part. VBA is optional. It is provided as an optional learning module, but VBA at one point of time was mandatory, but for non-technical people, it becomes a challenge. So we have made it optional, and especially in jobs also, it's that way. It's available, but not necessary. Mayank has a question, which mode of learning do you recommend, classroom or online? Guys, totally your choice. Experience it, join it. If you do classroom, you can do both classroom and online. 90% of the cases, people who join classroom then move to online and stick to online, right? So whatever gives you comfort and what is convenient, do it. But of course, a large part of our students do come from various parts of India or outside India. They are not from Delhi, NCR or Bangalore. So they do online, right? So there is absolutely no qualms or issues, even if you're doing online, equally interactive, same doubt support, same kind of interaction you can have with the faculty. Ritika, for any reasonable extension of the course, we do not charge anything. If there is a batch change, let's say you want to change from one batch, so there is a nominal admin fee of I think 2,500, but even that is waived off if let's say batch changes due to genuine medical reasons, etc. So there's basically, once you have joined, there's no reason you would be paying us more for anything unless it's really for some frivolous reasons. Mukul has a question. What is the timing of the course for working professional, which was the preferred learning mode? So this can benefit others also. I'll answer this. So Mukul, the general batch timings for working professional would be suitable only on the weekends, I suppose. So you have either 10 to 1 p.m., 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. batch, or 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. depending on the location and depending on the course and a month calendar, time will change. So you would have to see what are the timings for the available batches. Most importantly, we do recommend, if you are doubtful that you will be able to attend live classes, it's risk-free to go with the blended learning model. And blended learning model, as I said, you have the e-learning lectures with the doubt support, and also there are live doubt sessions every weekend, which you may log in based on the need. And most importantly, why this is risk-free, let's say you join this program and after 1 month you realize, okay, this is not working for me because I'm not able to be self-disciplined. I want live classes. So by paying the fee difference, you can upgrade to it. So you are not stuck in that learning mode. If you need to upgrade or change your learning mode, you can do that without any risk. So that's the beauty of this program. See, guys, one thing I would want to ensure, our objective is your success. From our side, we try to be as flexible as it can be, knowing all the challenges we have seen for students, for working professionals with family responsibilities. So we try to make things as much as flexible. as much as possible. Of course, there is some sanctity we need to maintain for the quality of the program and all that. But otherwise, changing learning mode, etc., that all those things are easily possible. Satvik, yes, we have programs available in weekend classes also in Noida. You may see the upcoming batch once, not a problem. Okay. Zad has a question, which again could be many people have. How long can we expect to land a job after successfully completion of this course? So Zad, ideal scenario in about 2 months. There are cases students get a job even after before the course is completed. Let's say the course is not complete, but they still get the job. Sometimes just in 15 days. In some cases, it may even take up to 6 months. So even in a job challenge, we say 6 months. There have been cases where it took more than 6 months, but I would say on average about 2 months, majority maybe 2 to 4 months. But we suggest you be prepared that especially if it's a career switch, right? That it may even take up to 6 months. There is another question which may benefit others. Do we learn business-related projects to solve real-world problems? Yes. So Abhishek, as part of the course, you get assignments. You also get projects. And many of these projects are actual real-world challenges, which we worked on for our client. Now we sanitize to make a problem for you. Or they were the hackathon problems given by hiring companies, right? So many of the feedback you would read about us would be how the program or the case studies they worked on prepared for them actual job challenges. So that is one of the key objectives we have, that you should be able to face the real world challenge. When you join a job, it should not be that you studied something very different and now you are dealing with something very different. So you should be prepared for the real world challenges. Okay. Saurabh has a question. This could be helpful for others also. He's in sales background. Should I quit job to fully focus on course, or should I continue my job? So the answer to it is, Saurabh, although you have mentioned more details around it, I'm not reciting it right now online. If you are okay that jobs, completing the program and job and all that can take up to 1 year. Let's say you may take 6-7 months to complete the program, another 4-5 months job search, etc. may take. It may happen faster also, sooner also, but worst case scenario. If you're comfortable with that scenario, there won't be any salary pressure, financial pressure, etc. You can actually do that, because these days taking career break to learn something, to upskill something is a common thing. So depending on if you would have peace of mind without being in job and focusing on something, learning new and then get a new job, it's fine. So the answer to it depends upon your peace of mind and the financial constraints, if any, because some people do not feel comfortable without being job, right? But otherwise it's fine. Yes, in some cases, we see that their current job is actually will be helpful in changing career into data analytics. In that case, we suggest them to continue the job. Or let's say they started the job only 3-4 months back, 6 months back. Then we suggest them you at least complete the job for 1 year so that it does not leave any questions on the CV. So there could be many scenarios, one-to-one case based. But in your case, as you have put it, I think should be fine for taking the career break. Bharat, yes, cloud technology is important. Even in a data science course, there are components related to cloud, especially the MLOps part. But yes, in data engineering, we go deep dive into it. In data science, some basics are needed. We do cover that. Sushil has a question. Can we customize the course according to our preferences? Sushil, not always. For example, Data Science 360 is in association with Nascom. We can't do that. But yes, if you want to add on top of it something, let's say you want to do Data Science 360, but you also want to add AI module to it, that is possible. So cutting down the set standard industry modules will not be possible, but adding some module to it will be possible. So that customization will be possible. Harsha had a point. Yes, if someone is interested in techno-functional roles, analytics career, data science career is the best option. You learn a lot from business point of view. You learn a lot by solving different business problems. At the same time, you also have, let's say, a tab on the technology trends. Sagar, your question, there is a time before your MBA starts. It's an year. Given the value of certification which comes with DS360, do that. But if you think just for any case, you want to finish the course faster, you do not have time for DS360, only then consider BA360. Engineering graduate, going for MBA, data science 360 is an ideal choice. Karanos, to be eligible for the placements, guys, you need to be graduate, right? So it's fine. Let's say you have given exam, just the results are awaited, that is fine. But by and large, you need to be graduate to be eligible for the placements. Although it is also okay, you can tell us that you will be graduating in another 3 months. You want to hold on to the placements till that time. That's perfectly fine. So you can come back to us and tell us that you do not need placement right now. Maybe you are waiting for the graduation results, or the other reason you want to avail placements in 3 months, 4 months. You will come back to us. That is perfect. That flexibility is there. Okay. So guys, I think I'll stop here. We are already well over the time, right? What I am going to do is the questions which are unanswered, please connect with the counseling team. They will help you with it. If needed, they will also help you to connect with me. My apologies, in interest of time, sometimes the questions which are related to your personal profile, background and all, etc., are not the best to be answered in a webinar, but we definitely want to answer them. Hence, happy to connect with you offline. So if your question went unanswered, apologies, please connect with the career counseling team. They will help you with the details. If needed, they will also help you to schedule a call with me in coming 2, 3, 4 days. So in the coming week itself, I'll be connecting with you guys or any of the senior team members if needed, based on the nature of the question in query. Fair enough. So I would take your leave now. I hope this session was informative. It helped you to understand data science as a profession better and the prospects better. We look forward to connect with you again. We look forward to help you to make career progression in best possible manner. Sabrish, anything for which you need me, let me know. I'm connected for a few more minutes. In case you have something to wrap up, please proceed.
Yeah, thanks, Sumit. It was a wonderful presentation as always, and good to see the participants as well have interacted, and it was an interactive session. So most of the session, most of the questions are answered, but I've also left the link If you feel your questions were not answered, you can please feel free to leave them there. And my team will be connecting with you, as Sumit said. And depending upon the questions, if needed, we can ask Sumit also to get on a call with you guys. And coming to the most important thing, I mean, you guys, we promised that we'll be giving you certain goodies that you can use it on your, let's say, if you're working professional, you can use it, presentations, etc. So all the attendees who have registered with the link, our team will be connecting with you in a day or two. And also, once the session is ended, there is a survey form that will come. So kindly fill that form as well for your details, so that my team will connect with you today or tomorrow, and will share how you can get all those goodies as well. And for participants who stay till the end, I had informed through the WhatsApp and everything that there will be a mega bonus that will be announced. So I was just thinking, and there were many questions on Power BI, what is the cost and everything. So since more questions were on Power BI, so I would like to extend that for the next 2 days, from including today, if any one of you are enrolling for our upcoming batches and blended mode of learning, we wish to give that as a complimentary, so that it motivates you, and given the lot of demand in the Microsoft's Power BI tool. So that's it. Probably I will post the poll again, and I will leave the link as well. And once the poll is ended, we'll wrap the session. Post the poll, take another 2 minutes to put the survey as well. And my team will connect with you maybe today or tomorrow. In case if you're not able to receive that call, you can always, they'll be connecting with you over the WhatsApp. You can let them know what is a convenient time, so that we can connect and share all the things that is required for you to claim those goodies. So thanks again for this thunderous response, actually, and good to know that you had so many questions, and me and Sumit, mainly Sumit, was able to answer all the queries right from the basic to advanced, everything. So thanks, team. I'm leaving the link now. Thank you. Guys, if you don't have any questions, you can drop off. Thank you. Once you end the session, you will be diverted to a survey link. Kindly take time to fill that as well.